This is why I suppose I accepted the invitation sent to me by Mr. Cedric Bell at the end of last year, although I should have known better. I suppose I should have recalled what kind of boy he had been at St. Benedict's 41 years before, instead of posting my response so promptly in the mail and beginning that evening to prepare my test. He, of course, was the son of Senator Cedric Hiram Bell, the West Virginia demagogue who kept horses at his residence in Washington, D.C., and had swung several southern states for Wendell Willkie. The younger Cedric was a dull boy. I first met him when I had been teaching history at St. Benedict's for only 5 years, in the autumn after his father had been delivered to office on the shoulders of Southern patricians frightened by the unionization of steel and mine workers. Cedric appeared in my classroom in November of 1945 in a short pants suit. It was midway through the fall term, that term in which I brought the boys forth from the philosophical idealism of the Greeks into the realm of commerce, military might, and the law, which had given Julius Caesar his prerogative from Macedonia to Seville. My students, of course, were agitated. It is a sad distinction of that age group, the exuberance with which the boys abandoned the moral endeavor of Plato and embraced the powerful pragmatic hand of Augustus. The more sensitive ones had grown silent, and for several weeks our class discussions had been dominated by the martial instincts of the coarser boys. Of course, I was sorry for this, but I was well aware of the import of what I taught at St. Benedict's. Our headmaster, Mr. Woodbridge, made us continually aware of the role our students would eventually play in the affairs of our country. My classroom was, in fact, a tribute to the lofty ideals of man, which I hoped would inspire my boys, and at the same time to the fleeting nature of human accomplishment, which I hoped would temper their ambition with humility. It was a dual tactic, with which Mr. Woodbridge heartily agreed. Above the doorframe hung a tablet, made as a term project by Henry L. Stimson when he was a boy here, that I hoped would teach my students of the irony that history bestows upon ambition. In clay relief it said, "I am Shutruk Nehunti, king of Anshan and Susa, sovereign of the land of Elam. By the command of Ishushanak, I destroyed Sippar, took the steel of Naram Sin, and brought it back to Elam, where I erected it as an offering to my god." In Shushanak. Shutruk Nehunti, 1158 BC. I always noted this tablet to the boys on their first day in my classroom, partly to inform them of their predecessors at St. Benedict's, and partly to remind them of the great ambition and conquest that had been utterly forgotten centuries before they were born. Afterward, I had one of them recite, from the wall where it hung above my desk, Shelley's Ozymandias. It is critical for any man of import to understand his own insignificance before the sands of time, and this is what my classroom always showed my boys. In this assignment, I would like you to do the annotations for yourself without my modeling. I'm going to see what you learned from the last activity, and if you can apply it again. Please pay attention to the details in this section of the story, just 156 and 157, to details that help you understand characterization and details that imply or suggest that there are coming conflicts, particularly between the character's ideas and beliefs and his students and those around him. As before, please take a picture of your annotations and upload them to the assignment on Google Classroom and submit them.